Hello, everyone. My name is Candice Francis, and I'm a product manager at CMiC. Today's webinar is on how to accelerate sales with CMiC Opportunity Management for Mobile. In this webinar, we're going to review the newest design when it comes on to our CRM mobile app. This application will help you manage your opportunities, sort through different things such as your contacts, your organization, or any action items you may have within the system that you need to attend to, as well as essentially it's going to allow you to ensure that you have the best details when it comes on to securing the information related to your projects and potential deals that you're looking to be awarded. For those of you who are not aware of what CMiC does, we are an ERP solution. So we have a cloud-based product that we offer to construction partners throughout the market. So within our system, we do have accounting opportunities where you can utilize our financial business areas. We have HR, asset management, so end-to-end suite, whether it's the accounting side or even the project management side. So that would be all your document control and your billings and costs. CMiC does offer a full ecosystem, so this suite of tools really allows you to have an end-to-end system under a single database platform. So whether you're managing any types of reports or even if you're working with third-party tools, we do also allow for you to utilize our open APIs to integrate, so there's no limitations when it comes on to dealing with CMiC. We're fully scalable when it comes on to our solution. In today's agenda, we're going to walk through 4 main points associated to CRM. So we have different objects available in the application. These objects would be opportunities, contacts, organizations, and action items. When we think about your opportunities, those are potential things that you may be awarded within your business. So these are projects that you're looking to acquire. So you can quickly navigate through opportunities listings, update information while you're on the go. And of course, your contacts. So anybody that you have met that are going to be a potential key player in being awarded this new business, you can manage all your contacts within the system. And the organizations themselves, so those businesses that you are vetting, you can set them up within our CRM tool so you can capture any milestones or any type of data that you need to acquire for future reporting. And then lastly, action items. These are the tasks associated to these supplementary records, such as opportunities, contacts, and organizations. So you can set these tasks and set dates and apply different notes so that you can manage the opportunity and the sales cycle effectively. So at this point, we're going to get to the demonstration, which will give you guys a good overview of what will be available in this first phase of CRM within CMiC. It'll just be 1 second. Sometimes there's a little bit of a lag with the Reflector app. All right, so you guys just see the mobile application on my screen. So for CMiC clients, we do have 2 different deployments. Whether you're on cloud or you're an enterprise customer, you're able to log into the app when you download it from the App Store. When you log in, if you are an enterprise client, this would be the UI that you would experience. You simply would enter your enterprise URL, your username and password, and simply sign in. We have enabled web SSO, so for those users who have single sign-on, of course, there are some configurations you would have to do prior, but you can enable that. When we think about the cloud experience, the login page would then have your tenant ID, and then similar to the previous, username and password in order to log into the mobile app. When you first log into the mobile app, the first page will be your home screen. Your home screen will collect all your recently viewed items. So any action item, opportunity, or even organization, any record you viewed recently would be available in this list. This list can be deleted. So if you want to remove some items if they're no longer necessary, you don't want to have to look at them within this panel, you can simply highlight the record of choice and then you'll have the delete icon, or you can choose to clear all to delete any of the records that are no longer applicable. In addition to the recently viewed, the next function that's available from the home screen is the ability to do your searches. The filter option that we have available within the global page, or let's say your home page, is the ability to search across a specific record. When we're utilizing a global search, this search function would search across opportunities, organizations, contacts, and action items. If you want to really filter your search, you can specify a specific record that you want to initiate your search with. With the searching component, it's simply done via keywords. So you can simply type in a word that is associated to a record and execute the search. Upon executing the search, you will then be able to see the listing of items that are applicable. In this scenario, we have organizations that reference Minto, we have opportunities, contacts, and action items. So this record is available across all the different objects within the application. In addition to the standard typing out the words that you may need when it comes on, in addition to typing out the keywords, you can also utilize our functionality of voice to text. So if you want to just speak into the voice note, it can essentially capture anything that you've spoke, and then it will record that information and render the search for you. Now we're going to go through the different objects. So if we're thinking about an opportunity in CMiC is your first starting point when you want to generate that information that related to the potential business that you're looking to be awarded. So let me just go in here. If I were to go into a specific opportunity record, you will see the details we're currently capturing. So these are just standard fields within CMiC that we're capturing today. So if you look at the details on the screen, we're looking at the name of the opportunity code. You can have auto numbering turned on. So the same functionality that is available on the desktop will be applicable to the app. So if you set up auto numbering, it would automatically generate a number for you. You don't have to enter those details manually. Currently, with this first phase of release, we are viewing attachments. We will not be uploading. In phase 2, upload of attachments will be available. So if an attachment already exists, you can view it directly. But if you're looking to add new, you'd have to do that on the browser until phase 2 has been released. In addition to capturing information against an opportunity, we have what you call related items. So anything that's related to that opportunity, such as contacts, will be available within the same panel. So you don't have to exit the opportunity record and go into your contact object in order to generate contacts or even review any contacts associated to an opportunity or an organization. Same concept would apply for action items. So you can see all the action items that have been linked to the opportunity within the same panel. When we think about searching and filtering within the record, sorry, there's just a bit of a lag with my Reflector app. Just give me a second here. There we go. So when we think about searching within the record, you do have some filters above the top within the opportunity record. So the search filters do change depending on the record that you're on. When we think about the opportunities, you can search by mine. Mine would be a record that you have created or a record that you are associated to as a sales rep. So if you're a sales rep on this opportunity, it would be associated to your mine filter, or if you created the record, you can also view it under the mine filter. When we think about sales stages, these are the stages you have set up within the system associated to being awarded the opportunity. So you can also add filters here to configure what type of records you want to render. So if you only want to see opportunities that are in the continued process, contact made, sales stage, and let's just say lead generation, you can execute that filter, and then based on the filters above for the mine as well as the sales stages, you will see the records that are applicable to those filters. We do have scenarios where some of our users are in a multi-company or do have multi-companies. So we have added a company filter. So therefore, if you want to just track opportunities and render opportunities against one specific company, you can select the company and any of the data that you're rendering will be associated to that specific organization. We have implemented the sort and the sort options within each record, and the functions behind these are for names and date modified. So the date modified would be the last time a change was applied to the record. So you can sort by name ascending or descending, or by date modified. Anytime you change the sort function, it does save it. So as you toggle into another record, if you go back to your initial record, you would see the date modified does stay. So it does automatically save your changes when you've implemented a sort. We are looking to review that for the standard filters as well, but that once again would be in our phase 2 implementation. The next item that we're going to discuss is contact records. So the contact records available here are, of course, going to be your system contacts. So you can essentially go into your contact record and review the details associated to that contact within the system. We're capturing just the standard information related to who the person is, what company they may work for, and any address information associated to the record. Earlier, I did mention we have the related items, so that would be consistent for opportunities, contacts, as well as organizations. So we have the tabs above the top. So within this contact, Aaron, we can see all the opportunities that Aaron is associated to, as well as any action items that Aaron is also linked to within the system. Contacts is the only record where we don't have an additional filter element. We do, of course, have the search component, the sort component associated to it, and that would be consistent with the date modified and the name, where you can do ascending or descending order. When we're thinking about adding a record, whether it's a contact, an organization, or an action item, there will be a plus icon available. So based on the security defined within the system for that user, you will have different security permissions. If you have the ability to create, of course, you would have the action to create a contact, create an action item, and so on and so forth. By creating the details on the mobile app, of course, it automatically is going to be available on the desktop. Since it's a single database platform, there is no lag time with getting that transparency between the two experiences, whether you're desktop or mobile. So we're going to take a look at our organizations. So within the organization panel, the main filter that we have today is mine, and the same concept would apply for organizations as we did for opportunities. Mine would be records that the user has either created or a record that the user is tagged to as a sales rep. This field sometimes is hidden in the system, so that's something that can be added via Light Editor. So if you haven't ever experienced a sales rep field on your opportunity or on your organization, that is a field that may be hidden, and you can enable that field at any point in time. So therefore, you can update it and add your sales rep to that particular record. With adding records in the system, the plus icon will be available. For our organizations, the same concept would apply from the desktop to the mobile app when it comes on to having records created as business partners or just OM only contacts. So if you want, OM only organization. If you want this record to only be available in opportunity management, therefore you'd utilize a prospect only flag. This would make sure that the record is not going to be available in AR as a customer record. The last item that I will reference is our action items. So when we think about searching throughout this particular module, you do have the ability to do mine, and that's once again going to be an action item that has your contact code referenced on it, or the action type. So currently in the system, we have public, shared, and private. So depending on the type, you can filter based on those particular parameters. When it comes on to reviewing an action item, all the details on the action item are they're an exact match to what we have on the desktop. As you navigate through the app, you'll see that some of the fields on the desktop, we may have a lot more real estate, but since this is a mobile experience, we do have a more concise experience within the mobile app. So not every single field would be available for your opportunity. It would just be the main fields that are needed to save the record and some additional fields that we feel like users would want to capture that standard information on. When adding an action item, you do have your standard list of LOVs. So based on the action types you've set up, you will have them available here. And of course, you can also do your search components to any LOV record within action items, opportunities, or organizations, just to make it easier depending on how long that list of values is when it comes on to your searching. So when we think about creating records, we've identified you just hit the plus icon. In order to delete a record on the mobile app, you do have to go into record mode. Once you are in record mode, you do see the garbage can at the top. The one thing to consider when deleting a record, you cannot have a child record associated to that record available. So what that means is if you have an opportunity that is linked to another record in the system, it will not allow you to delete. So it's a standard parent-child reference in the system. So you want to make sure if you just create a record by accident, you can easily delete it. Once that record is linked to anything else, you cannot. You would have to, of course, delete any child records before you delete the parent record. For our first phase of implementation, we do know that we have additional things we're going to be applying to the app, and that will be available in CMiC Assist. But as you navigate through the application, if you find that you're seeing some issues, we do have the Instabug linked to this mobile app. So you can give us feedback immediately and just give us some insight on your user experience, or in order for us to track any bugs that we have not found ourselves. And that would be standard with most of the mobile apps, but that's something that will be within the settings panel. So at this time, I'm gonna finish up with the demonstration, and I'm gonna go into any questions that you guys may have related to this first phase of implementation of CMiC OM.
Thank you, Candice. We have had a few questions come in, so I'm gonna go ahead and ask them in the order that they have come in. So Andrew Baranowski has asked us, is there a way to search for opportunities by other data points on the record itself, inclusive of custom fields?
So at this point, the only data points that would be searchable would be what's available in the standard on the OM app. So if one of the fields are not applicable to the OM app itself, it will not render anything when you execute the search. When we think about custom fields such as UDFs, we are currently reviewing that implementation as our phase 2. As we know, for a larger organization, there's a lot of data mining. So therefore, you guys are collecting additional data that's outside of what we may find as a standard. So that is something that will be applicable to OM in the future, where we can search across UDF fields that you guys have implemented within the system.
Great. And then I guess the next question follow-up was, is there a plan to expand into custom fields within the OM objects for entry and for viewing? So I think you answered that question.
Yes, so we're just going to configure the best way to apply that within the user interface on the OM app, because sometimes UDFs can be 100 different fields. So that is something that we're going to be investigating for phase 2. So that, yes, will be applicable to phase 2.
Okay, and then Christine was asking us, can you set the prospect only checkbox to be checked by default?
On the OM app, no. Of course, on the desktop, you can, if that's a wish list item to automatically, but that would just be setting up your light editor. So we haven't implemented that within the logic of the OM mobile to have any defaults set automatically. That is something we can consider if that's something the user group feels would be required for this application, because we have to think about everybody else and how they want required fields to render in the app.
Great.
Or default fields, I should say.
Thank you. And is there a place, Rachel's asking, is there a place to track meetings with clients and notes for each meeting and not by a specific opportunity to build customer relationships? For example, if they want to keep in touch with their customer periodically, and they'll find out different opportunities based on meetings as opposed to the opportunity itself first.
Yes, so that would be tracked by an action item. So within the action item panel, it's not required to log that action item against an opportunity. You can log it against a contact. So you can set up an action item and task it to, let's say, set up a meeting or a callback to any of the clients or contacts within the system, and that would be saved as a standard action item that you would manage within the mobile app or on the desktop.
And then can you turn the prospect into a customer later?
Yeah, so when you do prospect only, those can be changed to business partners. But if you have already set it as a business partner record, it's the same concept of parent and child. So you'd have to delete the business partner first in order to turn on that flag in the future.
Right. And then is there a security that Victoria is asking, is there a security linked to desktop version, or does separate security measures need to be set up for the mobile app and the desktop version?
So all security for the mobile app is based on JSP and ADF security. We are looking to consolidate that in the future. So currently, whatever security that you have set up in the system would be automatically applied to the app. So insert, update, delete privileges, whether you're managing it in ADF user maintenance security or JSP system privileges security, that is going to be associated to what the user would experience on the app. And there is
Great.
I have created getting started in CMiC Assist, and just to point to the security that needs to be reviewed prior to managing the app. But if your security preferences are standard and that's what you want every user to experience on the mobile app, there should be no changes. But everything's going to be available in CMiC Assist with the getting started of CMiC OM Mobile.
Great, and we can share that link with everyone that's attended the webinar today. Andrew is also asking, can you delete opportunities from the app that have a bid job created?
No.
Okay. The next question is, can you go over how the contacts link with AR again? And if you need to get into the application again, if you can do it quickly, then that's fine. If not, we can always reach out to Jerome later. But he's asking, can you go over how the contacts link with AR?
So I may have been, I don't know if I misspoke. That would be on the organization itself. When you create an organization, you can choose to have it OM only. If it's OM only, of course, that organization would only be available in opportunity management. Whereas if that flag is not checked, technically that organization is a business partner. So that business partner record can then be created as a vendor or a customer. So if you have created a customer to that organization, therefore that record exists in AR as a customer, as well as in opportunity management as your organization. So it's not necessarily the contact record, it would be the organization record where you want to streamline where you want that record to exist.
Okay. And then Guy is asking, can your contacts information from Enterprise be uploaded to the OM mobile app, or do you have to manage them separately?
So the OM mobile contacts is your system contacts. So that's the table that we're currently reviewing, that we're currently displaying when we're looking at contact records on the app.
Okay, and then I guess um, Andrew is asking, what is the timeline for phase 2 of the items or implementations that you have mentioned?
So we don't have a specific end date. We wanted to get some user feedback and see the usability based on this current phase before we implement or really apply more resources to add on to the logic. So based on what our users or you guys say, based on your first experience and the items that we have in the roadmap, we will have a better consensus of how quickly we need to render in the UDF fields and anything that is currently missing to complete the OM mobile app.
Okay, thank you for that. And then I have Henry asking, does the action items only show on new records, or does it show the predefined action per every sales stage?
So I'm not sure about that last part. So the action items are associated to any actions that have been created against whether the opportunity or just an action in the system that that user has created. It's not that there's the sales cycle actions where you can essentially, based on you updating the stage, you have a task. If you're asking about those are not the records that are being associated to the mobile app. It would be your standard action items that you set up in the system. So whether you have to make a call or set up a meeting, those are that's the particular table that we're pulling in. Not sure if that was what you're asking or if you want to rephrase it from if I
Yeah.
need more clarification.
Okay, yeah, Henry, if you think you need more clarification, feel free to rephrase the question and we can answer that. We still have a few minutes left. I have still a couple of questions that I'm going to go through. So Victoria is asking, is the notes function available for the opportunities and organizations?
Yeah,
The
it
notes
is.
function.
It'll be at the bottom of the panel. I guess maybe when I scrolled, it didn't go all the way down because there was a lag, but you do have notes across all the records.
Great. And then Jeremy is asking, will the session recording be made available for future reference? Yes, for everyone who's attend the webinar, we will be sending you a recording of this webinar in about 7 business days time frame. The next question from Rachel is, can you show how the action items look like by company on the browser as opposed to on the mobile app? And again,
Let me just
if
quickly
you're
log
able to do
in.
this, then that's fine. If not, we can always reach out to Rachel later.
I'll just be a second. I'm just going to wait for my reflectors to connect. So this would be what the action item record looks like on the mobile app. It's the same. We're collecting all the same information. So the title, the type of
I'm not
task.
able to,
Oh,
Candace, yeah, we're still seeing your PowerPoint.
oh really? It's showing on my screen that it's up.
Okay.
You don't see
If
it? Even on my
Oh, I
phone, it
see it now.
shows.
I see it now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So all the details related to the record is going to be here for the action item on the desktop. So you can attach it to an organization, a contact, an opportunity, and then the header is just the type of action item, the task itself, and whether it's going to be shared in the status. Was this what you were asking, Rachel? I'm not sure. You can confirm.
Yeah. Can you? She basically asked, can you show the item, how the action items will look like by company on the browser instead of the mobile app? So she's wanting to see how it would look on a browser. I don't know if you're able to show
Oh,
it on a
just a
browser
regular
versus.
action item.
hmm She's asking to see it on the browser.
Just give me a few seconds here. All right, you can go to the next question while I sign in, if there was another one,
Okay,
Sheree.
and yeah, Jeremy was just asking, which application is this? If you can just clarify specifically.
It's CRM. So if we're thinking about the desktop, it may be under customer relation management. It all depends on when it's shipped on your menu. It'd be customer relation. You'll see it in a second. Management within the panel.
And is there a separate cost to access this, Candace, or is it built in as part of the license?
Yeah, so if you have access to opportunity management on within your licensing module, because I know it may be a little bit different for enterprise versus the cloud, you would have access to the mobile app. So there's no additional cost associated to it. So for Jerry's is customer relationship management. That would be the business area within the menu when you launch CMiC. And then when it comes on to, I believe it was Rachel, for action items on the desktop, this is what it would look like. You would have your list view once this loads of all the action items. And then you would then go in and you can go into record mode as well and see the details. Was there any other questions, Sharon?
I think that's all that we had. I think Jeremy's just follow-up question is how about an iPad? Is there an app or is it only accessible through the web?
So this is a mobile instance. It's available through iOS or Android. I was just utilizing an iPad. So if you download it from the App Store for iOS devices, you can review it on your iPhone or your iPad. Same concept for Android. Any Android tablet or Android phone, you can download the app. Do note this is needed from a deployment perspective. You need to be on 14.1 for enterprise clients. It needs to be 14.1 plus hotfix B54. The cloud has not fully got the prod release of 14.1 yet. Once 14.1 has been released to the cloud, we would then apply that hotfix. It's not something that you guys would have to ask for, but that's looking at this point to be released by the end of month, if all things go well. The app is finished. We're just waiting for everything to be released for the patch to make sure that you guys are not downloading the app and not having the full functionality. So once everything is finished with patches and hotfixes, the app will automatically push it to the Android Play Store and the Apple App Store.
Perfect, thank you. And one last question before we end the webinar. Does action items actually send you an alert or a reminder when they're input?
Currently, there isn't any automatic notifications. I did recall a while back, Oliver, who is the person that deals with all our integrations, there was something in the works for that, but I'm not sure if that's something that he's still pursuing. I know that that could be something that could be maybe a wish list item or entered into user voice. But currently, you would just have the list and you can just review the list based on maybe a status or open action items within the mobile device. Or if you have Sys Calendar, if you're looking at your action items on the desktop, you would see those action items in your system calendar for that day that they are due.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Candice, and I appreciate everyone joining in and staying a few minutes later to get these questions answered. If we haven't reached out to you for any questions, please feel free to email Candice directly, or you can email me as well. A recording will be available to all attendees 7 business days from today. You'll receive it on an email. Any further questions, feel free to reach out to us. My name is Shireen Ali, and thank you for joining today. Have a good day.